How's it going, chicks and mates? This is Mrjacharles, and we are back with Seduce Me 2, The Demon War. Okay, now we need to listen to our body or listen to our mind. I usually listen to the mind, so I'm going to let the character listen to the mind. I had to relax. Now was not the time to let my libido, ooh, okay, new word, take over. I didn't want to do anything after experiencing that kind of dream. I slowly began to pull my lips away, and Damien did the same, as if he already knew what I wanted. I smiled up at him and caressed his cheek. I feel better now, thank you. Damien smiled back at me and nodded before nuzzling my hand and closing his eyes. He most likely had to calm down himself from the mood we had slowly started to inch towards. The feel of his skin made me elated, because it helped me remember that he was okay and he was with me. That was all that mattered. It wasn't long before I closed my eyes and fell asleep again. This time I was able to float in the blissful darkness uninterrupted. Soon days went by, passing forward in almost hyperdrive until a couple of days before the wedding. Damien and I worked hard after our rest day to make everything perfect, and we were positive that nothing could go wrong. Everything's gonna go wrong. The Demon Lord's gonna come along, burn the place. Diana's gonna come along, burn the place. I bet some of the brothers that actually hate Damien for ending up with me, burn the place. Something's gonna burn. The boys picked him up, leaving me alone to get into my wedding dress and wait for my limo to drive me to the wedding hall. I was nervous that I needed to prep everything on my own without interruption. This isn't the wedding hall. I got into my dress, finished getting ready, and wound up staring at myself in the mirror in awe. I don't see a mirror. Wait, there's not even a mirror in the room. What am I looking in? Oh, am I looking at that glass window? I was in my dream wedding gown, looking as I had always imagined I'd look like getting married. The one thing that made it special was that I was marrying. I stopped myself. Damien wasn't a demon. He was a human. Yeah, well, I know, I still think of him as a demon. And even then, he doesn't sound like being a demon isn't such a bad thing. Again, this seems to be kind of a thing where he just doesn't want to be him, rather than he doesn't want to be a demon.
Aren't you so proud of yourself?
Yes, I'm getting married. You're single for life. Huh? I looked around, suddenly hearing Diana's voice in the air. Just hearing her ask that one question filled the air with dark and menacing tension. However, it was impossible. How was she here? Maybe she came to visit you. I mean, she is a demon. She probably can't teleport. Diana, where are you?
Didn't answer my question.
Sorry, I forgot the question. What was it? And give me an option. Why should I? Show yourself. Whoa, you've had a makeover. As I looked at the mirror, I gasped. Instead of my reflection, I saw a dark shadow with gold eyes staring at me. I would know those cruel eyes anywhere. Diana.
How does it feel to be inches away from marrying the man of your dreams?
Fucking fabulous. Why should I tell you anything? Why are you here? Bitch.
A frisky bridezilla, aren't you?
Yeah, mate, I'll beat you up. I'll have a pillow fight with you. Naked. I'd say in front of Damien, but you probably wouldn't want to see your fat, ugly body.
Tell me first, how do you feel now that Damien's no longer who he was?
Do I get an option for this? What?
Remember, he was born a demon. And you took that away from him. Well, I did anyway. At your request, of course.
You're blaming me for that. If Damien really didn't want to become human, then he could have just said, I did it because he wanted to. Yeah, he wanted to be human. What kind of logic is that? This was insane. Why was I arguing with her when she was just a shadow in the mirror? Dan let out a dark laugh.
You don't even know who you're marrying, do you?
Actually, no.
The human who is a demon. What's
Yes.
next? Will he demand to be a woman instead? He could easily...
Low blow.
Oh, wait. He can't because he no longer has the ability to do so himself.
Sorry. Why are you dissing me? Why don't you like me being with Damien? Why do you care? God, my character is so in sync with me right now. He can do what he wants.
Do you even know what he wants?
Well, he wants to be human.
I want to go to the human world. I want to be human.
Well, he's human now.
Tell me, Can you give him everything he wants?
Yes.
I want my mother back.
Oh, well, not that.
That I was ever a demon.
Who doesn't want... Well...
Forget I was even born.
Sure. Yeah. Stop it. Yeah. I suppose that's kind of the same thing. Except my way of saying stop it is just to lose interest. I couldn't take it any longer. I grabbed the lamp on my nightstand and lifted it, ready to smash the mirror to pieces. But that's my mirror! She better be paying for that. However, as I looked back at the mirror, it only showed my reflection. Diana was gone. Oh, okay, so we're keeping our mirror.
I knew it. I knew it. That girl has demon magic.
Who's question mark, question mark, question mark? I feel very unsafe right now. What the...
Quit talking and let's take her. The demon lord will be so pleased.
Who? Before I could turn to search for the voices, I felt hands grab hold of my feet, and I looked down and lifted my dress. Wait, what proved I have magic that I can throw a lamp at a mirror? Two pairs of evil-looking hands had taken hold of my ankles, reaching through a dark red and purple pentagram. I shrieked, trying to pull my legs away, but couldn't stop them as they swiftly pulled me into the ground. Are we going to hell? I was pulled deeper into the darkness. I was no longer in my room. I was being dragged through a dark void, one that I couldn't escape. I reached out and clawed at the dark, trying to find something to grab onto. I tried to pull my legs away from the hands that were holding them, but I couldn't pull free. What was going on? Why was this happening? Someone help me! As if someone had heard my screams, I suddenly felt the hands let go and disappear, leaving me to float in the darkness they left me in. I shut my eyes. Please let this be a dream. Please let this be a dream. I finally felt a surface under my feet, and I collapsed onto it, my body curling in on itself from the experience I had. I didn't dare tear my eyes away from my lap, not ready to get up just yet. The voice I heard, however, made my heart stop.
You. What are you doing here?
Is that Diana? I looked up, finally having the courage to take in my surroundings. My heart stopped beating for a moment, seizing in my chest. Oh, shit, okay. Well, I was right, it's Diana, but who are these other four? I looked up to see 5 figures, strangers, monsters, beings that I didn't recognize. They all looked down at me in surprise, as if I had dropped in at a very bad time. One man looked like an orc from a fantasy game without the tusks. He had broken horns and a very frightening aura around him as he stared at me. The other male was lanky in comparison. Oh, okay, the one in the middle right. More human-like, but I could almost feel power emanating from him regardless. One, the woman who was staring at me had rabbit ears. Rabbit ears. Yeah, you already said. They twitched on top of her head as she looked at me and gripped her staff. She seemed harmless, yet she had animal ears. And then there's the middle one, the most threatening demon of them all. The one creature that I couldn't discern the sex of seemed more excited to see me than surprised. What freaked me out about them was that they had wings striking out from their back and they were floating. Could that be a guy? Oh, I suppose there's no breasts. Okay, could be. Oh, sure. The last woman, however, set off alarm bells in my head as I looked at her surprised face, her hair, her eyes. Diana? As she stared, the woman turned her body towards me in recognition to the name I called her. It was her.
What are you doing here?
I was gonna have a wedding, but then I got dragged to hell by 2 dicks. Diana walked towards me and stared down at me. It was odd. She didn't look like a human, yet I wasn't afraid of her demon form as it towered over me. I was more in shock as to what was going on. Oh, it's the guardsman, or whoever he is. Before Diana could speak further, more likely to repeat herself, a figure quickly stepped up and bowed to her, kneeling beside me.
My lady, please forgive me. I felt something moving between our worlds and assumed the Demon Lord was to blame, so I intercepted his summoning of this human.
Okay, so the Demon Lord was trying to steal me.
You. So I wasn't the only one who felt the change in the air.
Okay. Diana stared at the man kneeling beside me as I kept my eyes up at her. As she turned her gaze back to me, I gulped silently. What was she going to do with me? This all felt wrong. I was about to be married. I was about to live my happily ever after with the man I loved. Now I was in a place I didn't know with Diana and a bunch of other creatures I didn't recognize. My instinct was to... attack, scream, cry. No, it'd be to ask what's happening. Not so much for that sync me and the character in the game had. Stay still. I couldn't move. My mind was empty of emotions except for fear. I'm not scared. She's not... What could she do to me? I know she's a demon, but she's not exactly threatening to rip my flesh out. Why was this happening? Where was I? Why was Diana here? Diana stared down at me before sighing and kneeling down to my level. As she settled onto her knees, I leaned away from her, unsure of what she'd do. Was she going to kiss me again and take my energy? Knowing her, maybe. Oh, no.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, sure. ... Yeah, that's what happened. I didn't want to speak. I felt no courage to. My mind was so wrapped around this chaos that I felt nothing but fear and anxiousness. This couldn't have been happening. I was dreaming. Yeah, now she's waiting.
Is she okay? I don't think so.
This is a waste of our time. Just kill her or something.
I doubt Diana's gonna let that happen somehow.
Yes, because that's a smart thing to do. Kill someone who is clearly traumatized and has done nothing to deserve death. Brilliant idea. Bravo.
Well, in fairness, demons, they kind of do that anyway, according to most laws. Is Diana just like, should I kill her? Or should I not be a dick? Diana continued to stare at me, waiting for me to answer her. Why? She didn't cast a spell on me, nor did she attack. She continued to wait and stare. Slowly my mind began to sink into the situation. Diana was willing to listen. Was she willing to help? That was another question, but first I had to answer her. My voice didn't want to answer still, so I forced myself to nod, wanting to answer her somehow. Diana smiled softly, which conflicted with my memories of her. She never smiled like that. Yet she was now. Diana held out her hand, ushering me to take it.
Can you stand?
Sure. Well, not right now here, because I'm kind of playing a game. I nodded again and took her hand, standing up at last. I looked around at the other beings in her room. They all kept their gaze to me, unsure of what I would do or say. Diana, however, led the conversation.
First, can you tell me what happened to you?
I got dragged to hell, just like any other teenage girl. I took a breath, recounting everything that happened. I was about to go to the church to be married, and then... I was attacked by this darkness. A couple of hands grabbed my legs and pulled me into it, and then I fell here.
Shadow summoning.
What's that? Diana turned to one of the beings, the lanky male, and glared.
One of yours couldn't have.
On my honor, it wasn't any of mine. We have nothing to gain from kidnapping a human. Nor do we know who this woman is, anyhow.
Maybe you did it for shits and gigs.
My lady, if I may, I clearly remember hearing imp demons in the void along with her. It must have been the Demon Lord's henchmen.
Yes. That actually would make sense. Well... Wait, if there's a war going on, wouldn't it be better to use the imps for more military tactics? Well, then again, I suppose he might have been trying to call upon, like, use me as a hostage so his 5 children or whatever could attack this girl.
Those damnable creatures. That explains it.
Yes. Diana crossed her arms and looked at me again.
Well, dear, it seems that you were to be either a new harem girl for the Demon Lord to ravish, or bait for the boys to return to their father's side.
Oh,
Either
I
way,
thought the second one.
I doubt you would have lived long had the Demon Lord gotten his hands on you.
So wait, harem girl, is that a girl that basically just takes the Demon Lord's child? That's nice. A violent shiver ran up my spine. Was it true? I would have died?
Wait a minute. This girl knows about the Demon Lord's heirs?
The screen's getting crowded very quickly. I mean, soon I'm not going to be able to see that nun with a sword.
Yes. Hilariously enough, she was set to marry one of them, as you can see from her garb.
Oh, I'm still in my wedding dress. That's embarrassing. As Diana motioned towards my dress, I realized how vulnerable I was and felt extremely self-conscious. I wrapped my arms around myself as Diana let out a sigh.
Well, since you do not belong here, the obvious thing to do is to send you home.
Oh, really? Is it that easy? I couldn't help but stare wide-eyed at Diana. She was really going to send me home? Really? I couldn't believe my ears. Am I going to teleport in my church? Do you know what an awesome wedding gift that would be? You will really send me back?
Of course. It should be easy to do once everything is in order. It'll be like you never left the human world.
Once everything is in order. Wait, like I never left the human world? Oh yeah, I wonder where we are. Are we in Canada? Could we be in China? Maybe we're in Madagascar. Of course we're in hell. Where else would we have gone? What do you mean by left the human world? Diana stared before chuckling softly and gesturing to the room and beings within it.
Dear, do you not realize where you are? You are in the demon world.
Oh my god. No, please, tell me my protagonist knew we were there. My mind went blank. It couldn't be. I couldn't be in the demon world. No way. No way in hell. Oh. Great. Well, I've learned something new about my protagonist. She has an IQ of 7. I felt myself back up against the wall behind me, suddenly afraid. I was in another world? How? That was impossible. Diana stepped towards me, both of her hands softly trying to show she meant no harm as she positioned them in front of her body.
Do not panic. We will send you back now, so there's nothing to worry about.
Now? Oh, I thought we had to do a quest or something first.
How will you power the spell?
Oh, here we go.
Bringing someone here is no easy task, but sending someone back consumes much more energy.
She must have been the one that went to demon school.
I'll use what energy I have now and rest. We can organize the siege another time when I fully recover. It's not like the Demon Lord can escape the corner we've trapped him in, so we do have some time to spare.
Seriously? Okay.
Don't waste time and energy on this human. We must strike now while the Demon Lord is weakened.
I don't know what he means by weakened, but I do kind of agree with the Hellboy fanboy here. Why would she sacrifice her energy for
But
me?
the human doesn't belong here. She needs to go home.
Shall I prepare
Sure.
the return spell?
Do. I grant you permission to use my energy to power the spell.
Oh, wow. With a nod, the lanky man held out his hand towards the wall. I looked over in the direction it was aimed at. Diana's shadow? I watched the Diana's shadow simply stood against the wall, mirroring the movements of the real succubus in the room. Before my eyes, the shadow began to morph and expand on the wall on its own. This sounds very much like Lauren Kate's Fallen. I looked back to Diana to see her wrapping her arms around herself and curling her shoulders over, as if she was in pain. Her nails embedded themselves into her forearms, and I could barely make out a painful hiss escaping her clenched teeth. Was the spell hurting her that badly? Oh, that doesn't look like a healthy shadow. I turned back to the wall to see Diana's shadow shaking and vibrating, as if it was resisting the change the man was forcing
You
on
will
it.
obey my command. Open the gates to the void, and allow passage to the world we seek.
Why are we threatening, like, this girl's shadow?
Transitum per renan pectum trenives. Ubi aperiunt. Iano io. Perceptio.
Feels like Diana should just have said those words, rather than... Oh, whatever. I don't understand this. Upon Diana's final word, her shadow burst and expanded into an oval-shaped doorway. I stared wide-eyed at the passage, before a hand placed itself on my shoulder, forcing me to look over. The one with the spear gently pressed my shoulder forward, and looked down at me with an almost stern face.
You must leave now. The faster you leave, the quicker we can close the void.
Well, I'd love to, but unfortunately I can only click so fast.
Go get married.
Sure. I quickly nodded and lifted the bottom of my dress, stepping forward to make a run for the passageway. However, before I could bolt towards my freedom, a snarl echoed through the room.
How dare you interfere with my summoning?
Well, he came here quick. Oh god. At the very moment, Diana began to scream, arching her spine and throwing her head back. Around her body were red-tinted bolts of lightning, flashing and shocking her forearm.
No!
What?
Use the passage! Now!
I'm using it! Didn't have to tell me twice. I bolted towards the portal, driving forward as I neared it, but it was forced back by a burst of energy and a flash of red light. I fell to the floor, almost slamming my head onto the stone. No! Oh, I want to see Damien again!
Never! Ever! Leave this world alive! You spineless word!
Close the portal. The Demon Lord might get through.
Why can't I get through?
Close
Yep.
it.
Do it. As commanded, the man pulled his hand back, visually forcing his arm back behind his body, and Diana's shadow quickly began to morph back into a simple shadow. The electricity around Diana faded away as she began to tip forward. The man with the spear dropped his weapon and caught Diana in his arms, cradling her to his body as she panted and gasped for air.
I don't sense the Demon Lord anywhere.
That's good.
The worm has to scurry through the shadows to try and fight back. He'll be dead soon enough.
Yeah, even though we got scared shitless of him interrupting the spell, which would allow me to be back with my bae.
How is she, guard?
How am I? I'm good. How are you? Oh, right, sorry. I'm being a bit of a selfish bitch. Diana seemed to be uninjured. Wait, Diana seemed to be uninjured. Okay, Diana seemed to be uninjured, but her body was twitching from the aftermath of a magical attack. Her visible eye was shut tight as she dug her fingers into the guard's jacket to cling to him. As her eye opened, I saw not a bloody ruby red color, but I saw a cold and unfriendly golden color painted over her iris. Her mouth opened as she panted for air, and I could see hunger in her facial expression, but she continued to stare at the wall, not wanting to make eye contact with anyone.
There are no physical wounds, but she's been weakened. I must give her my energy so she can recover.
Oh, okay. The man swiftly moved and hooked an arm underneath Diana's knee, lifting her up bridal style as she clung to his jacket, shivering. The spear that had fallen onto the floor faded into black and purple mist as she quickly left the room with her in his arms. Okay, it's gone on a bit long now, but I basically have to end the episode. So, my thoughts on Seduce Me 2, The Demon War. As a sequel, I find it's really cool that it did explain the story beforehand. And I did like the guy I ended up with, despite not even being able to see the guy I ended up with, and pretty much basing it off a colour. Pretty much. I think considering this was aimed for a girl audience, I'm surprised there's not more love stuff going on, or we meant to feel like lovesick and just fight this whole war so we can see our bae again, which would probably appear in like a credit scene or something. I mean, I still like the game. It is actually more adventurous than I thought it would be. Although I have to admit, I would have liked to have made more decisions. But you know what, it's fine. I still had fun. So I don't know when I'll continue this. Might be in a few months, or might be in a few weeks. But anyway, look out for my books, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and until next time, see ya!